Greetings, this is Curtis Kruger. I'm the exhibit chair with Cape Fear Camera Club, and today we're talking with Gary Brewer. We're excited that he is one of the exhibitors with the IOD, Images of Distinction. We've got that show going on downtown on Front Street in the Intracoastal Realty office. Gary, welcome and thank you for your time.
Well, thank you, Kurt. I really appreciate being included with these other images from the club that are so very professional, and I appreciate all the time that you're putting into this effort.
You're certainly welcome. First off, I guess, is how in your life did you get involved with photography?
Yeah, well, I guess my first introduction to photography was through my dad, who with his old Argus C3 camera, film camera, took and carefully curated literally hundreds of 35 millimeter slides. Dad loved to entertain the family and friends and relatives with after dinner slideshows and that featured our family camping trips throughout the Western United States. I was also influenced by my dad's old tattered collection of National Geographic magazines, which always featured distant places, untamed wildlife, and native people that subsisted on the land. And for me, those National Geographic photos really taught me that photographs are so valuable in telling a story.
Sure.
And so I grew up with enthusiasm for the living world, and which led to university degrees in biology and a rewarding career in environmental research and administration. But during my teens and early 20s, I never really had the resources to invest in photography except for some inexpensive point and shoot cameras. Of course, I used them to document my kids growing up, like most families do. It wasn't until the 1990s that, with my lovely wife, Donna, I began some earnest international travel and purchased more capable photographic equipment. And we now have the means to better document our travels, which have focused on visiting wild, remote places to photograph wildlife and people. So that's kind of a quick summary of my enthusiasm for photography and the natural world.
Well, I've got to say, I read your biography and I was quite impressed with many things, but I think most of us who like to travel have that fantasy of someday getting a sailboat and sailing off, around the world, and you did it. So congrats.
We did, yeah, thank you. It was quite an experience, as you can imagine. We did a circumnavigation for about 5.5 years, from 1991 to 1997, just the two of us, and traveled over 40,000 miles in dozens of different countries and islands. Saw some amazing places and wildlife, as you can imagine. Fascinating people.
That's great. So we're going to show your image here. Obviously, this image, you could see right away it wasn't taken in the United States. Tell us a little bit about this image.
Yeah, well, about the image of the Maasai women. Don and I love Africa, not only for the wildlife, but also for the culture and traditions of the people there. The Maasai Mara Refuge in Kenya is an amazing place where you can get incredible photo opportunities, seeing herds of wildebeest and zebra and Cape buffalo, watch their predators chase them, and of course an immense diversity of bird life as well. As part of that safari experience, virtually all the tour groups get a chance to visit one of the Maasai villages and learn about their traditions, their customs, and invariably the women will have their handiwork out for display and for sale. I would emphasize that the Maasai women are empowered by the sale of their artwork. And we tried to support that wherever we could, not just in the Maasai, but everywhere we went in Africa, whether it was carvings or beadwork or other kinds of things that were done by local craftsmen. Mm-hmm. Ecotourism throughout Africa supports these activities, and it also bolsters the activities of wildlife tour guides and wildlife rangers that are there to protect the wildlife, as well as help the tourists learn about the conservation of their wildlife heritage. Mm-hmm. So we felt very privileged to interact with these folks, talk with their chief, and really had an exceptional experience in places like the Maasai village, where these people are as concerned about, or even more concerned about, their wildlife and their conservation of the wildlife as we are.
Right. Well, that's really wonderful, a wonderful story. And again, congratulations on your image in the IOD. Last question, what do you really enjoy about being a member of the Cape Fear Camera Club?
Well, I think we've been a member for 3 or 4 years now mm-hmm. of the Cape Fear Camera Club. And we've especially enjoyed the camaraderie, talking with people with similar interests. We are not only photography, but, visions of what makes a good photograph, and some of the tools and techniques that are being used by the experts. The presentations by the invited experts have generally been excellent. The seminars on photo tools and techniques have really been eye-opening for both Don and myself. And I especially like the photo competitions. Mm-hmm. Invariably, the critiques by these photography experts have really led me to new insights about my photos. They've definitely improved both my photos and my post-processing of the photos. It's funny because after the judges' objective analysis and critiquing of my images, I always end up saying, well, of course, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
So sometimes it seems obvious after some of these people point your shortcomings out, and it's taken with great gratitude, because we're always there to learn something new, and we always do.
That's great. Well, again, I thank you for your time, and for those, definitely need to get down to Intercoastal Realty to take a look at the exhibit Monday through Friday from 10 to 5. So once again, congratulations, Gary, and we'll look forward to seeing some more of your work.